Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter for boxing-related tweets. So you can subscribe to the channel, click that notifications button, and get a new notification whenever a new video is uploaded. Let's talk boxing. What a sensational performance from Oleksandr Usyk. It was a masterclass. Before we get into the technical elements of it, I just want to say this. A few weeks ago, I put out a tweet to say, if he wins, in my humble opinion, he goes straight to pound for pound number one. And I got a lot of backlash. No way, Canelo Alvarez, a lot of people were saying, and so on and so forth. Here's the thing, right? Olympic gold medalist, winner of the Super Series, undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, and now the unified heavyweight champion of the world, and undefeated, without any question marks when it comes to any results that he's had. We're not talking about close fights that people feel, he robbed the other guy in, or there's no other controversies regarding his diet or what he consumes or anything like that, okay? There's never been that. He's always been on the road, a road warrior, traveling, okay? This is why I compared him to Jason in that mythological study, because he's always on the road looking to achieve something great, overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And he does it time and time again. This is a very, very special fighter. In that technical breakdown video, I also spoke and gave examples of how proficient he is at inner mid-range. And I showed you clips from the Michael Hunter fight. And what did we see here today? From the very first round, he walks over and takes the center of the ring against Anthony Joshua. He took center ring. He didn't go and run. He took center ring. He continued to do his feinting. He continued to do his lateral movement, because that's what he does, getting you to react. He lands something quite significant early on, and that makes you realize, wow, this guy can pop more than I thought he could. So now all of a sudden, you're concerned about what could potentially come, so you do react to the feints, okay? A lot of people are saying, well, why is he reacting to the feints? It doesn't work like that. If you don't react to the feints and he's actually throwing a punch, you're going to eat the shot flush. And when you're not rolling with the shot, you're not taking a slight step back and it lands flush, you're more likely to get hurt. You're more likely to get knocked out. So he's a nightmare to face. And the first 4 rounds, the second round was a swing round. Maybe you can give that to AJ. But over the course of the first 4 rounds, he won at least 3. He looked brilliant. Now, Anthony Joshua made an adjustment in round 5 and he started to target the body with straighter punches. And he took round 5. And then he took round 6. And I was thinking, is Usyk tiring here? Is this body well? We've seen another Povetkin situation where Povetkin started well and AJ made the adjustment to target the body with straight shots to the solar plexus and he took him out. But then Usyk had a big round 7. And this is what great fighters do. Just when you feel like maybe their performance is starting to come off a cliff, they manage to turn it back around. And he had a brilliant 7th round. In the 8th, Anthony Joshua made another adjustment and he started ripping uppercuts to the body, to the solar plexus. And he started to land flush and he took that round. So through 8, I had it I had it 5-3 to Oleksandr Usyk. But because round 2 was close, I thought, okay, we're in England as well. This could easily be 4-4. But then Usyk pulls away. And one of the key moments for me, which I thought was vital, was the 9th round. Because what AJ sought to do early on was keep him at bay. And put out a big stick there, that, long shot, and try and keep him at bay and maintain that distance. So he was taking a little bit of a step back each time, and that's why Usyk was able to take center ring. He wasn't just standing in the center and saying, okay, if you come to me, I'm going to hit you. He was trying to maintain that range. But then what happened in round 9, he decided, I'm going to try and break Usyk's construct, which I felt, like I said in the preview, is what he should have been looking to do from early. You need to put a fighter in a situation where he has to do what he doesn't want to do, okay? Usyk wants to box. He wants a clean boxing match. Don't give it to him. Turn it into a brawl. Now, had Anthony Joshua held him and lent on him, would it have been a better outcome? You never know. But round 9 suggests that Usyk still was in control. You see, what happened in round 9, which went under the radar, it wasn't mentioned on the Sky Sports commentary team. I haven't seen anyone talk about it on Twitter. I don't know if it was spoken about in DAZN. It's just something that I've noticed personally. Please go back and watch round 9. Anthony Joshua tries to launch 3 uppercuts to the head. And we all know what a dangerous punch that is. Now, in the Pulev post-fight video where I was doing a technical breakdown of it, I was talking about how much Anthony Joshua has improved at using things like head control. And at one point, he tries to grab Usyk, pull him down, and throw an uppercut. The minute he grabs Usyk to pull him down, Usyk starts moving backwards quite frenetically, trying to shift to get out of there. He knows of the potential threat of the uppercut. The referee then warns Anthony Joshua about that because it was an obvious pull down, an obvious attempt. But the attempt of an uppercut came 2 more times later on in that round. This time, Anthony Joshua had him in the clinch. And you could just see his shoulder drop back slightly. That little drop back where he's looking for the uppercut. And Oleksandr Usyk on the inside just tucks his elbow in. So rather, imagine you got your hand upright, your fist pointing at 12 p.m., your elbow pointing at 6 p.m. He tucked the elbow in at about, say, 4:30 p.m. or not 4:30, about 5 p.m. And what that does, because your arm's now diagonal, it cuts off the pathway to your chin. So by simply twisting his elbow in on the inside, he's safe on the other side. He's telling Anthony Joshua, I'm protected here. The only place AJ could have hit him would have been with a hook to the body. But that uppercut that he was looking for, he took it away. That happened on 2 occasions, which made me realize just how proficient and defensively astute Usyk was, even when he was being clinched. It was just very high level stuff. But I spoke in the preview about how this is not Derek Chisora. A lot of people were saying, AJ's going to walk through him. We've seen nothing to suggest that in Usyk's entire career. Murat Gassiev is a massive puncher. He landed a very flush pull counter, a right hand, right on the chin of Usyk. And he took it, and his legs stiffened. But he wasn't seriously hurt. Believe me, Gassiev can bang, right? Maris Briedis can bang. You don't believe me? Go and watch what he did to Manuel Char. Not an elite level heavyweight, but an established level heavyweight. His durability is his durability. He's a heavyweight. Go and see the state of him after he fought Maris Briedis. Go see how violent that knockout was. These boys can bang. So if they're not hurting Usyk, why do people assume that just because he's facing a bigger man, he's going to get knocked out? I mean, I'm sure many of you guys out there are fighters, right? Do you get intimidated immediately when someone's bigger than you? We're talking about 3 inches. We're talking about one weight category. Of course, size matters. Don't get me wrong. But you're not talking about a welterweight going up to fight a heavyweight here. You're talking about big men. And at cruiserweight, he has shown to have a great chin. So I've never understood this idea that AJ would walk through him. What could have potentially happened, of course, AJ's got the power to clean anyone's clock if he lands flush. What could have potentially happened, though, is that he would have broken his construct by leaning on him, and he had to do more of that. And he didn't. He enabled it to be a clean boxing match, and there was no adjustment. And I found that a little bit disappointing. I understood you wanted to keep it long initially, right? I get that. You wanted to keep it long. And I've just appeared on Hatman's Live, which was a very nice thing. Thank you, Hatman, for having me on. And Hatman was making the point that he feels that Anthony Joshua was a little bit novice-y, very upright, very stiff in the back. There wasn't much adjustment. It was almost like an amateur type approach. And he feels that that's a reflection of Robert McCracken. I do think AJ is a top level heavyweight. I do think he's an elite level heavyweight. I just think that sometimes styles make fights, and Usyk, as I said in my own preview video, the technical preview video, he's very proficient at mid-range, but how he was to close the range mattered. If he couldn't get his lead foot consistently on the outside of AJ's and get close enough to AJ, then he would lose the fight. But I felt that he would be able to do that, but it would take him time. I felt that the fight would look more like Lopez and Lomachenko, where early on, AJ would be able to nullify a lot of what Usyk was trying to do and keep him at bay, and then Usyk would figure a way out, get in the pocket and start to go to work. But Usyk very early breached the pocket. From the very first round, he was in the pocket, in range, and he was forcing AJ to work. And by round 3, personally, I knew the fight was going only one way, right? From round 3, I knew that AJ had a puncher's chance. At the end of round 6, I thought, maybe Usyk's tiring here. Maybe AJ's going to continue to target that body. But round 7 confirmed it for me that if Anthony Joshua was going to win the fight, he would need to knock him out. In terms of just sheer ability we're talking, there is a mismatch here. But Usyk is elite. Okay, he's an all-time great fighter. The things he's achieved, he's an all-time great fighter. I'm not saying he's an all-time great heavyweight yet. There's more to go for that, right? You've got to, he's got to do something pretty special. He's in the conversation for being the best cruiserweight of all time. I know a lot of people will say, well, Holyfield became undisputed at cruiserweight and at heavyweight. But Is the tight victory as an individual standout performance, is the tight win in a barn burner against Riddick Bowe a better win than Anthony Joshua? I don't think it is. That's just my opinion. In the method, especially that Usyk won it, right? So the point is, he's in the conversation. He's in the conversation for being the best ever to come out of that division. And he's now making massive waves in the heavyweight division. Now, Tyson Fury is a lot better at breaking your construct. He will lean on you. And that, as he showed against Cunningham, that might really throw Usyk off. I believe Fury early in the fight would want to keep him at bay, right? Try and use that superior length and reach, turn off at the shoulder so he's not a square on. But I think when he starts to do that and he realizes that Usyk's getting the side element, the side part, the spacing on the left of his shoulder, that's when he's going to have to adjust. I think Usyk would breach that approach, that attempted defense, and Fury would have to then try and lean on him and go to war. He'd have to go from too fast, too Fury, as it used to be called, to, as Ben Davison calls it, the Gypsy King, the warrior, the guy that wants to go to war, right? But the thing is, in order to do that and to achieve that, you have to be able to close the range safely. And a guy who's going to keep getting you to rotate with lateral movement, it's not going to be easy. He's not just going to be there in front of you just to lean on him. You look at the Deontay Wilder fight, Fury was throwing this long right, looping right hand, right, which comes all the way around. And I nearly broke the plant. He nearly comes all the way around, and then it'll sort of catch you on the back of the head, and he'll pull you in, and then he'll lean on you. Well, it's one thing to do that against Wilder or other cumbersome, big, strong heavyweights who might not be able to adjust. But with Oleksandr Usyk, if you throw those telegraphed shots like that, he's going to take half a step back and then throw a left hand down the pipe. Now, you might fall into that still. Take the shot, who knows, and start falling into him, bumping him. And over the course of a fight, although you're going to take some clean left hands, you're going to start to wear him down, right? So I'm not saying it wouldn't work. Maybe it would. Fury's dirty. He'll get him in a headlock. He'll lean on him. Maybe he'll wear him out. Okay, I don't know how that fight goes. But the point is, I mean, I've got an idea, but I'm not going to tell you until I ever have to do a technical breakdown video of that fight. But the point is, it's a proper fight. Don't assume that Oleksandr Usyk doesn't belong here. He's proved it. He does belong here. You know, Derek Chisora is the sort of guy that can break your construct with very fast feet. And I'm sorry, but Usyk won that fight pretty comfortably. I know the narrative was that he didn't. He had some uncomfortable rounds. And in terms of a full fight, holistically, it was an uncomfortable night. But if you're scoring it round by round, Usyk won that fight. I never understood this narrative about, I thought Chisora won the fight. I just don't see it. Now, in terms of where Anthony Joshua goes from here, Hatman was saying how he felt that AJ needs to perhaps look for a new trainer, adjust, maybe even drop down a level, fight some guys that are of a lesser level, work on some things. I suggested one of the things I thought might be possible for him is to make a pretend retirement. Go and work on a few things backstage. Let the winner of Fury Wilder fight Oleksandr Usyk and then announce a comeback. And everyone's going to be gassed that you're coming back. That's a major fight. Now, I'm not sure if they'd let that happen considering he's just signed a long-term deal with Matchroom. It depends, how much they're willing to gamble with their investment. But the other possibility is that you take the immediate rematch. And that's dangerous. At this present moment in time, this isn't like the Ruiz situation where he got caught with one big shot and he was doing well prior to that. He got caught with a big shot. And then in the second fight, he thought, you know what? Ruiz is big, he's fat, he's slow. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. Like, if you lot have seen these terrible scenes occurring in Iceland and Las Palmas and a few other places where volcanoes are going off. In Iceland, there's one that's really slow rolling. And it's actually attracted tourists, and they're right there at the lava taking photos and stuff. That's what it's probably like fighting Andy Ruiz when he comes in as big as he came. You could turn up, take a few photos, take a selfie with Ruiz in the background. He throws a punch, you pull back, it slips away, you go, you missed me, boy. And then you get on your bike again. You ain't going to do that against Oleksandr Usyk. You're not going to do that against Ruiz when he's actually in shape either. But AJ would have realized, you know what, this guy is slow of foot and his big shots are mid-range. I'll just take the pocket away. You don't have that luxury against Usyk. It's a bigger threat. So what does he do? Does he take the rematch? Does he drop a level, as Hatman's saying, get a new trainer? If he is going to do that, he would have to relocate, in my humble opinion, go to the United States. Perhaps his next fight could be in Africa, in Nigeria. He's been talking about this a lot. And, if pressure's an issue for him, then there will be pressure to do that, of course. But if he would be able to get away with any sort of opponent. So get the fight in Lagos against a much lesser opponent. Charles Martin's been running his mouth that he wants a rematch, right? Bring him in, and go to work like that and work on a few different things. That could be a possibility. Or does he just adjust his style and go for Usyk in a more aggressive manner, in which, more aggressive, by the way, doesn't mean you just load up your shots. Because I know some people are saying, why wasn't he throwing shots with conviction? When there's a target that's moving, right? So imagine I'm moving all over the place. You go and hit my hand and you try to hit it. For you to hit it, you're going to try and do a quick little tap. You're not going to sit there and try and take it out, because I just move my hands, you're going to miss. And because you're overcommitting, if I'm then going to hit you every time you miss my hand, so imagine I'm saying to you, I don't want you to hit me in the face. We're just going to play a game. I want you to hit my hand. And every time you miss my hand, I'm going to punch you in the face. You're not going to sit there and lay into it, because if you miss my hand, then I'm going to hit you in the face. Whereas you're going to take a quick little shot. And if you miss my hand, you're going to know that I'm throwing, and you're going to step back too. So you're trying not to be hit. That's the reason that feints work and the movement of Usyk works. You don't know whether he's going to throw a punch or not. So do I react and pull back, or do I just stand my ground? And all these little different things are a nightmare to have to deal with. But the fact of the matter is, if this man was American or British, we'd be talking about him in just a different way. And the other thing about Oleksandr Usyk as well, that a lot of people might not be aware of, I get this on good authority from somebody who's a massive Oleksandr Usyk fan and who's got a number of very close Ukrainian friends. So I'm getting this from somebody else. Oleksandr Usyk is a very staunch Orthodox Christian. That I know is a fact. And as you're all aware, the Ukraine and Russia have had certain, major political problems between them. Well, he is part of a Russian Orthodox Church, and the Orthodox Church in the Ukraine tried to break away from Russia for political reasons, which we're not going to get into the ins and outs of this, but from church law, so to speak, they're not allowed to do that. Okay, so it was a political move rather than a religious move. Usyk continued to follow the path of his faith. And as a result of that, many Ukrainians are hostile to him. He's pro-Russian. You know how in the Ukraine you get groups that are pro-Russian and then pro-European? Well, the Klitschko's are pro-Europe. They want to become more westernized. In the Usyk's camp, Usyk, Lomachenko, from what I've been led to understand, they're more pro-Russia. So he doesn't even have the hearts of all of the Ukrainian people. So this is a guy that's not going to get credit in the US, the UK, as he should, because although he's got a fantastic personality, he doesn't speak the language fluently. And from a sheer marketability perspective, that is going to have a negative impact. And then in the Ukraine even, he's probably quite contentious. So he doesn't get the credit he deserves, because this man should be an international superstar with the things he's doing and the way he's doing them. Let me know what you think about everything you saw tonight. Where do you think things went wrong for AJ? Where do you think things went right for Oleksandr Usyk, and why? How do you think a rematch would go? Where do you rank Oleksandr Usyk in the pound-for-pound list and in the pantheon of cruiserweights that have decided to move up to heavyweight? Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Chat to you soon. Take care. God bless.